Warm welcome to you from Geneva, Switzerland. We are 1 minute and 30 seconds away from starting this sharing of experience session. We look forward to the session and we actually can't wait. We just had a very exciting session with the Francophones together with Charlotte Mbuh, and we're very pleased to introduce to you Dr. François Gasse, a living legend in immunization. He's going to be the one asking you questions about your challenges, also your ideas and practices that you will share. We'll be together in just over 1 minute. Seconds, 13, 12, 11, 10. Going to see this is going to be very different from what we did on Monday. Here we're really getting down to work, if you will, in the Movement for Immunization Agenda 2030. Monday was the big assembly, everyone together, celebrating really the kickoff of the movement. Today with Charlotte Mbuh, we're going to dive in and kick off the work. And we're very pleased to welcome François Gasse, who is with us, a returning advisor, critical friend, who's going to be asking you questions and challenging you about your practices, about your own challenges, pushing you to go further, to think through what you are doing and how. Now, just a quick reminder. If you've joined us, you've just joined the largest platform for immunization professionals. On Monday, we had 43,655 people. The point is, you're connecting to each other, not just to us. And what's at stake is actually contributing to build the Movement for Immunization Agenda 2030. And you've all joined. You spent time in your application answering over 95 questions to help us get a sense, a feel for your daily reality, the challenges that you face. And 6,144 of you actually went through that questionnaire to join the movement, were accepted, received your letters of acceptance. And today we're kicking off the full learning cycle, which we started on the 7th of March, but today we're going to deep dive into your challenges. If you face any of these challenges, this experience sharing session is for you. And together with François Gasse and Charlotte, we're going to be showing you how to work the ideas engine, think through the ideas and practices that you might submit. This is an amazing tool, platform, available exclusively for members of the Movement for Immunization Agenda 2030. Now, if you need technical support, this is not the session for you. So if you're having trouble with passwords and logins and so on, this is not the session for you. There is a follow-up technical support session. Charlotte, can you give us the details? When can scholars get technical support if they're having problems such as passwords and logins and so on?
Thanks, Reda. Warm welcome, everyone. For those who have technical problems, you can join the technical support sessions on Wednesdays and Fridays. So Wednesday, tomorrow, that's 4:30 p.m. Geneva time. You can join us. I'll just put in the link right here in the chat. Or I'd rather put it towards the end so that no one gets confused. But just to let you know, do not suffer in silence. Whether you forgot your password, you're not able to access Learning.Foundation or the Ideas Engine, join us tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. Geneva time for the technical support session.
All right, wonderful. And if you have poor connectivity, we highly recommend the podcast. But today we're going to dive right in together with François Gasse and Charlotte Mbuh, as well as Ian Steed, who's joined us. He is the mastermind behind the Ideas Engine. So I'm going to show you. I'd like you to type yes into the chat. So this is for all participants with us in their Zoom studio. If you have, in fact, been able to access the Ideas Engine, and conversely, if you haven't been able to get to the Ideas Engine, type no, so we can get a quick poll of whether or not you've been able to dive in. So I see only yeses for now. So is there anyone here who has not been able to access the Ideas Engine? If so, do not be afraid. Thank you, Spola. Ajay. Haman Usman, no, said yes. Dr. Zainab, if you say no, we will be here to help you, and the technical support session is for you. Charlotte, over to you to kick off with a challenge question.
Definitely, Reda. If you could just put up the challenge question on the screen, I'll be inviting you to raise your hand. You all identified priority challenges that you're facing as far as immunization is concerned. So what is your most difficult and important challenge? What support do you need? Please raise your hand if you want to share. And I see Tekeste Dalk hand has been raised, and forgive me if I'm unable to get your name right. Please, can you go ahead and unmute yourself to share your most difficult challenge with us as far as immunization is concerned. And please feel free, if you're in a position where you cannot speak, you can also type in your challenge in the chat and the support that you need. I'm inviting Tekeste Dab to unmute. They are not unmuting. I'll turn towards another person in the room. Okay, so there is in Phoenix, Umar Yakubu. Umar Yakubu, please go ahead and unmute yourself. Umar Yakubu, please go ahead and unmute. If not, I'll be inviting Professor Becky Tagbo.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Yes. Thank you very much. Nice to be here again. One of the most important challenges I'm facing here is vaccine hesitancy.
Please, can you start by introducing yourself?
Oh, my name is Becky Tagbo. I'm a professor of pediatrics. I work in University of Nigeria Teaching Hospital, but I also work at the facility level. I work at the state level. I work at the national level. I'm also an immunization trainer and supervisor. So one major issue we have here is vaccine hesitancy. You know, even people who are educated, whom you expect to understand and take the vaccine, especially the COVID vaccine, they are refusing the vaccine. We are trying all our best, showing empathy and convincing a good number though. So what support I will need is, you know, some electronic flyers or something, maybe a GIF or a clip, you know, trying to help people, which I can share on social media to help people to see why they should take the vaccine. Thank you, and over.
Thank you very much, Professor Becky Tagbo, for sharing your challenge. I'd like to turn towards Dr. François Gasse that is here with us. Your mic is already unmuted. François, do you have additional questions to better understand Professor Becky Tagbo's challenge?
Merci, Charlotte. Thank you, Charlotte. Thank you, Professor Tagbo, for your. I'm sure the vaccine hesitancy is a sort of worldwide issue in front of COVID. Even in my island in Spain, you have about 30% that refuse vaccine. The first things I want to ask you, is it really an hesitancy? Is it an opposition? Could you be more specific on the specific reasons why people don't want to get vaccinated? Sometimes it's a lack of information. Sometimes they're ambiguous about the vaccine. Can you specify more what is a vaccine hesitancy you're talking about, and who is affected? Who was the profile of the person you mentioned many people, but could you be more specific?
Professor Beck, please unmute yourself.
Yeah, great. Thank you. So, yes, I know that for some people it is opposition, but majority of the people I have around me, it isn't really opposition. There may be a few people who are really anti-vaxxers, but majority are just misinformed or disinformed. And some of them are afraid of the adverse events. Really, they have conspiracy theories. They don't have confidence. They are afraid that maybe people who manufacture the vaccine have other things in mind. You know, I've interacted with them. And in fact, there was a program that was organized. I had to talk to a large audience. I showed a lot of empathy and told them, you know, what I understood, and told them, I understand your hesitancy. I'm sure you are bothered about safety. And then I had to explain that the vaccine is actually safe, and it's safer than most drugs that you've been taking. And after that talk, a good number actually changed their mind and went and took the vaccine. Thank you.
Another question. When you say vaccine hesitancy, it's congratulations for having succeeded to convince some of them. What proportion of targeted people are really giving you that challenge to address? Is it a big group, or is it specific group in certain community, not everywhere? How is it? Are they everywhere a little bit, or are they clustering?
Yeah, I think it's across board. It's really across board because the news spreads through the community. That's the conspiracy theory is going through the community, worming its way from one neighborhood to the other, even health workers as well. People who work in my hospital are also hesitant, even doctors.
But yeah, I can understand you because I have an elder brother who is also vaccine hesitant, and I've spent all my life in vaccination, so I understand you. But one additional, have you tried to, you mentioned misinformation, disinformation. Have you had sort of studies, what would convince them? Who do they trust? What are the elements that makes them evidence?
Yeah, I think it's just to build their trust. Anything that will make them have confidence that the vaccine is safe. Like some of them, when they discover that I have taken the vaccine, then they change their mind and took the vaccine. So it's really about confidence, vaccine confidence, you know, from manufacturers, from government, you know, so it's lack of trust. I think that is the key problem.
And who do they trust? Do you know who are the most trustable person for those people?
Yeah, I think the health workers are the most trusted people. Health workers.
And are they equipped to respond to the vaccine hesitancy, or it's a very big challenge?
No, they are not equipped. That's why I'm asking for IEC materials, e-copies, you know, to provide information, you know. So they don't have much information.
Thank you very much, Professor Tagbo. It's a very specific challenge. I'm sure you're not the only one to face it, and it would be nice to get other people to maybe share or say what they've done about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just one comment from me, if I may, Professor Tagbo, is that I heard you say that you were successful in overcoming at least some of the vaccine hesitancy and convincing at least some of the individuals. So even though you said it's a challenge, this is your most difficult and important challenge, it sounds to me like you may be underestimating the success story within it, because any time that you, as an immunization professional, successfully convince an individual or a group, that's a win. And maybe I would suggest going to the Ideas Engine. Have you been, Professor Becky Tagbo, to the Ideas Engine yet?
No, not yet. I intend to go there.
All right, so it's important that you do. I'll tell you why. Here we are, less than 100 people in the room. If you take the time, if you make the effort to go share how you successfully convinced those individuals when you were able to, you will be sharing then with more than 6,000 members in the movement and potentially helping someone who may be halfway across the world and who hasn't thought of the strategies that you successfully used. And that will give them two things: a new strategy and confidence that at least in your case, it worked for you and maybe it will work for them. So that's really, if we're asking you to register and create an account and join the Ideas Engine, that is why. That is because it is one of the opportunities that you have to contribute to helping your colleagues around the world. So does that sound like it's worth putting in a little bit of time to share what you have? And if you go to the Ideas Engine, Professor Becky Tagbo, the other thing you'll get is you'll see what strategies other people have used to challenge vaccine hesitancy. So those are two reasons. Do you think they're enough for you to dedicate the time, sort of figure out how to get your login, your password, access it, spend some time looking at the ideas? Does that sound like a good deal, or maybe not so good?
Sure. No, sure. I would love to go there. I'll share my experience. Yeah, I will.
And one recommendation, Professor Tagbo, if you feel what were the real key message that had the most impact to reduce vaccine hesitancy according to your experience, because you had a success, share those key messages that you consider were really very useful to modify the vaccine hesitancy. Thank you.
Thank you. I will. Empathy is the key word.
Empathy, excellent.
There's a great resource put together by Save the Children, the Common Thread in Bosara. It's called the Little Jab Book, and we really, we don't promote any specific resource, but this one really stands out. It gives you really practical behavioral science strategies for increasing vaccination uptake. So if you are looking for strategies, I'm sharing this resource. You can also share the resources that you found useful to help you as you struggle with hesitancy in your own context. Back to you, Charlotte.
Thank you very much, Reda. I think before we go ahead with ideas, we may take one more. Okay, I see you've already put up the question on idea and practices. So I'm going to invite Dr. Imran Khan, trying to look at geographical and gender balance. Dr. Imran Khan, your hand is raised. Please go ahead and unmute yourself. Tell us who you are and what is the idea or practice you want to share. Over to you.
Thank you so much. Dear colleagues, my name is Dr. Imran and I'm from Pakistan. I'm working with WHO as a divisional EPA officer in Southern District of Pakistan. So I want to share in practice to nowadays I observed in a community. One is just my colleague said it about the vaccine hesitancy is most common among the community because of two things. One is a propaganda and negative messages in a social media. These challenges lead to the community that become refusal, not only for the COVID vaccination, along with the routine immunization also, because they link the same message with the vaccine that the government or the people now vaccinate the child instead of they give a name of the routine immunization. So this is a big challenge nowadays in a community to vaccinate the child along with the adult with, for the COVID vaccination. The big challenge here in our community is the refusal families. They are in the form of the clusters and also a very few houses, the people are refused to the routine immunization along with the COVID. My experience is to identify the most senior person are the local influencers, are the religious leaders, which are living there, and the most of the community also trust on the pediatrician's strong recommendation. So if the parents come to the pediatrician and they give a strong recommendation to the parents for the routine immunization and also for adult, that they should vaccinate themselves against these vaccine preventable diseases or pandemic disease. Next thing I want to share that we have to engage the religious leader. I don't know about the community for other countries, but in Pakistan, in Southern District, most of the community just they believe on the religious leader what they says. So the support I need from the higher authority or from other people to engage the religious leaders, arrange community awareness sessions along with the engagement in monthly meeting with these people to spread a positive message among these social media. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Imran, Dr. Imran Khan. François, any questions for Dr. Imran?
My question is, I think you raised an important question about suggestions about religious leader, and of course influencers, which is now a word that everybody uses. And I think influencers are, I'm sure you raised the idea, which is a great idea. Now for religious leader, what are the key message you feel with our experience? Why do they, if they are not promoting the vaccine, do you know why? Or do you have an idea? What are the key messages that they would listen to?
Imran, I'm inviting you again to unmute.
Yes, sorry, in the last my connection was unstable, so I can't hear properly to my senior colleagues. Can you repeat it for me, please?
You know, I would like, yes, no problem. I would like to know, with your experience, what are the critical messages to religious leaders to get their support? I understand they are very important to stimulate the demand, but what are the critical information towards religious leaders, according to your experience, that may overcome the challenge and make them promoters and supporters?
Sir, first thing is that, that there is a communication gap between the healthcare provider and the community. And the same thing we faced here is also with the religious leader. There is a big communication gap between the healthcare provider and the religious leader. First, we have to approach the religious leader. Then we have to educate them about the vaccine, what is vaccine and what's the benefits of this vaccine. After, when they realize and they see what's going on really and what's the benefit of the vaccine and what is that vaccine. So the people which are coming there, when they give a Juma prayer or prayer they give a speech to the people, they just spread a positive message among the community.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Imran Khan. François, any other question?
Yeah, no, so it's just, I think it's very interesting what you share. And I was wondering, is there in the context of communities, you mentioned the influencers leaders, in the context of religious leader, what level are the most important to mobilize and share what you say about education, communication? Is it all level? Is it first the top level that distributes the information? What's your experience on that? Unmute yourself.
Yeah, I'm just, okay, great. You're unmuted.
Okay, sir. Sir, the first thing is to start the spread of the message from the higher authority. They have the religious people also organization at the provincial and federal level. To start from that, and they give a convey message to the local level, to the union council level, and they have the ability to convince the refusal, and the communities also believe on the religious leader. So start from the provincial level, then to the district level, and then to the community level. The higher authority and the organization leader will convey the same message to their union council level religious leader, and they give a positive message among the community about the vaccines.
Thank you very much. That's very clear.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, François. Thank you, Dr. Imran Khan, and thanks to all those who are putting up a very interesting comments in the chat as concerning their challenges and the ideas, what they are doing to overcome those. So I'm going to turn now to John Selby. John Selby, what is the idea or practice that you want to share? Please start by introducing yourself.
Hello, good evening.
Evening.
Yeah, please, my name is John Selby, as mentioned earlier on. I am from Ghana. I'm a senior community of nurse. I'm directly involved in immunization activities. Sometimes I supervise some of my colleagues, and then also undertake immunization exercises at the sub-national level, at the sub-district level, and the facility level. My biggest challenge is that with Ghana, we have most of our people who are to receive these vaccines in the very remote areas. But for us to achieve this Agenda 2030 for immunization, we cannot forego the 5 action areas of Ottawa Charter, that's health promotion action areas, building a healthy public policy, creating a supportive environment, strengthening community action, reorienting the health service. With Ghana, there is still more to add to creating supportive environments with regards to reaching every child and reaching every community. You know, we have to meet every child or reach every child in every community where we have scattered communities. So there's this plea that the national should factor it in that at least they have created more chiefs compound to create accessibility to villages and towns which are out of the cities. But there's more to add to that. Means of transport to reaching these people is very difficult. And for that matter, the government has to play a significant role where nurses in these remote areas at least should be given these motorbikes so that they can go to the interiors and then reach people and give them the vaccine as they needed. The idea of practice I also want to share is that some immunization countries have multi-dose policy on vaccine, that one vaccine sometimes have to cater for 5 children, and if you are not able to get these 5 children, you are not going to open the valve, especially with BCG and the others. But if there is a room that can create one single dose for such vaccines so that each child or each person gets one vial of the vaccine, whether you get 5, whatever, you open and you give straight, it is going to be of help to us. And then so soon, I want to recommend that this creating supportive environment for immunization should be a most-top agenda for all countries and for all governments so that we can reach this Agenda 2030. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Selby, please keep your mic unmuted because I am sure François Gasse has a number of questions for you.
Okay.
Thank you, John. You know, I'm aware that you belong to a country which is very high performing in immunization. You're almost a model of immunization and immunization system, but of course, any system may have some gaps to reach, as you say, all the family. My first question, you mentioned the lack of the need to equip with motorcycle. Is it not part of the policy? Is it something you can solve locally, and how? Or is it something that beyond you and is part of the national policy health system structures? That's my first question.
I'm asking John to unmute.
Okay. Thank you very much. Per the public health system we have in our country, the policy sought to reach every community and bring the service to the doorsteps of the people. But there is this component that is lacking, that equipment and logistics to work with at the very local level are not there, and it is beyond us in our setting. So we are pleading that if there is any donor partner, government should factor it into the policy so that we can be sorted out in that direction. Thank you.
John,
yeah?
Yes, François, please go ahead before I...
When you're talking about this problem of reaching every child, what percentage of children are not reached in your area? What's the size of the problem you just defined?
John, please unmute. Yeah.
Okay. Actually, children under 5, most of the times, most of them are not rich. You know, per our country, immunization is supposed to cover at least 95% of the children in one's catchment area. But sometimes during the annual review, as we are currently doing and reviewing reports, you could see some districts are below at 60, 70, which is not going to help us to achieve this Agenda 2030. So we believe that with this logistics and this planning, which will be factored into the national policy or national immunization policy, I think we will go far to the 95% for those antigens that are paired with 95 and 85 for TB, that's tetanus toxoid for pregnant women. We will achieve that so that it will collectively come to join so that we achieve this Agenda 2030.
I think it's a very interesting challenge for countries that are doing well, but still not well enough according to the objective set of your goals. Those, you know very well, those in every district, are they well known, those communities where some children don't receive the vaccine? Are they mapped out? Because you are in a very difficult challenge. It's a few number of children that are not reached. You say 50, but does it mean 200 children? Does it mean 10 children in a community?
Okay, for the percentages, if you pick every 200 children, you are going to mix roughly about 50 of them. And then the 150 that you will be able to catch, they will not all that get the full immunized status, because they may lose 1 or 2 of certain antigens which they need to take so that they will get the full protection, or they will be fully immunized. For instance, when they are taking penta, diphtheria, hip, they have to take 3 shots or 3 doses per their age up to the time that they were born, up to 5 years. But these children that we are talking that they will miss, you could see that we may get 2 of them receiving, and then they will not receive the 3rd one, which is going to give them the full protection. So we have a big challenge. But roughly when you pick 200 children in a community, you're going to mix out 50 who will not receive.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, John. Thank you very much, François. We may come back to you, but Reda, I see we are almost out of time.
We are at the half-hour mark, and remember, this is a 30-minute session, so we are at a decision point. We have over 100 people in the room. We did not advertise this or promote it. We did not send email reminders. So if you are here, it is because you wanted to share your challenge, your idea, your practice. And now is the time when we ask you, with Charlotte and François, in response to your needs, we are willing to stay longer, but only on one condition. And that is if you choose to stay longer in order to continue this sharing of experience in the context of the full learning cycle that kicked off on Monday. So please go to your keyboard, and if you would like this session to continue, type more into the chat. If you'd like this to end or you need to leave, just type no. All right. But if you want this to continue, type the word more. The same if you're following on YouTube or Facebook or in Telegram, just type more. All right. Boma Otobo says more. Manisha, Julius, Mary Vanderbree, Shahida, Joseph Ngugi, Dr. Imran Khan, Awet Araya, Ola Inka, Ola Amy, Salakbi Jaffrey, Omuraiden, all more, and more. All right, I think we're good to go. So Charlotte, back to you. Obviously a very motivated group gathered today to share experience for, again, the reminder of why we're here, the movement for Immunization Agenda 2030, and what we kicked off on Monday, the first full learning cycle. Back to you, Charlotte.
Thank you so much, Reda. And before we took this little break, there was another challenge that was raised by John. He talked about children that were missed because they didn't meet a certain threshold for a vial of the vaccine to be opened. Now, if you are here and you in your practice, what do you do in your context to be able to reach children, for instance, with vaccines like BCG, with the vaccines like measles, rubella, the MR vaccine, where you have to wait for a certain number of children to show up for the vaccination center because after opening the vial, after 6 hours, you cannot use. Please, I would like to turn towards Mary Van der Puy. I'm trying to respect the gender and regional approach. So Mary Van der Puy, please introduce yourself, share your idea and practice. If your idea it could either help Professor Tagbo with the issue of vaccine hesitancy or help John on his challenge about using multiple dose vials of vaccine. Over to you, Mary. Please start by introducing yourself.
Okay, Vicenia Van der Puy from Accra, Ghana. I am a nurse practitioner and I am a supervisor as well for other nurses under me. About the practice at our place, what we actually do with the concerns that John raised, we also had a challenge with finance as well and the transportation as well. But we initiated a certain system in place, like various community health nurses will come together to go with one area or a certain area of work, where the other nurses will join that person. They will go to the various homes of the children who they are anticipating that they are supposed to come for the vaccine, but they couldn't come. So on a particular day in a week, they will choose that this day we are going for home visit, maybe in a particular area. They will go in a group with other nurses from other areas joining them so that they will be able to cover a wide range of area within that community who they think they have missed a vaccine or their vaccine was due but they couldn't take it. Then the following week, they will move to another community alongside their actual clinic days where they will render the child welfare clinic and give the normal vaccines to other children. They choose a particular day to organize home visiting where they will go as a team with other people joining them to vaccinate the other children who they think they have missed a vaccine or they. So I think if they try to initiate that one for now, it can also help until the challenge of that environment friendly thing that he's talking about to help them to cover a wide range of area. If they are in a community and the community health nurses are in various zones, they can organize that this particular day, all the other zones should come and join this team so that we go on massive home visiting to identify children who have missed a vaccine or who couldn't get their vaccine so that they can immunize. So I think if they do that, it can also go a long way to help.
Thank you so much, Mary. François, any question for Mary?
You said that, just a clarification, it's very interesting that it's a good planning and you try to have few nurses to address the issue of unreached children or not fully immunized. You said it's a guess. How do you get that guess, or do you have a system to know exactly who is not immunized, or they go and they check at random to see the children not reached or not completed the vaccines?
What they actually do is, most of the times, most of the children will come for the vaccine. They're 6 weeks, 10 weeks, and 14 weeks. But sometimes when it gets to like measles 2, that 1.5 and other years on, their children don't come. Their parents don't bring them to the clinic for the vaccination because they think that with the vaccination ends at age 1. So what they do is when they pick their child health records book, that big book that they enter, the child health record enter all those things, they will be able to identify that this child was due for this vaccine, but this child couldn't come. So based on that, they will decide to embark on mass home visiting in a particular zone. And with that, they will be able to even get other children who were not attending their child welfare clinic within their zone, but a different place altogether, but as relocated to that area, they will be able to capture them as well to enable them to give them that vaccine.
Thank you. So you reach those one you identify through your file as not having completed, and when you do the visit, you identify those one who are unknown and have never even started the vaccine.
Yes. Sometimes when you go on the visit, you will get a child who was even delivered at home, and the mother never took to welfare clinic.
Thank you very
So
much.
if such a child was born within the community by a traditional birth attendant and has never visited the facility for this vaccines, you will get that opportunity to get that child the vaccination.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mary. I have a question for you. Have you submitted this? Thank you so much, Mary. I'm going to ask you to unmute again. I hope your connectivity will hold up. I want to find out from you, have you submitted this idea in the ideas engine?
No, please.
All right.
Okay,
So
have you? Okay, over to you, Reda.
yes, I think that's where I come in. So right now, you've just shared a very interesting idea. It needs to be a little bit, it leaves us with additional questions, which François has already asked you a couple. But here's the difference you can make, Mary. You've received the information to log into the Ideas Engine. Have you visited the Ideas Engine yet, Mary?
I tried visiting there this morning around 12, but about navigating the area, I got a little bit confused. So I logged out again.
All right, that's fine. It's the first time. So remember, tomorrow there is a technical support session. So if you haven't figured it out by then, I would suggest that you join us for that. But I'm going to quickly show you and explain to you how this can help you and how you can help others in the movement for Immunization Agenda 2030. So here I have my login. I followed the instructions, and it can be a little confusing, but just persist. Don't give up. And here now I am in the Ideas Engine, and here I have the 7 strategic priorities of Immunization Agenda 2030. So Mary, can you tell me, where would you submit your idea? Under which strategic priority would you submit your idea that you've been sharing with us?
I think I'll put it under 3.
All right, so under
Coverage and equity.
Sure, all right. So you click on the coverage and equity card, and here you can see, first of all, you have 2 options. You can view submitted ideas. So there is actually, I believe, at least 150 people. Ian Steed might give us an update. In a second. And here you can see the ideas that have been submitted already. You see, so Hamzat Mohammed, Samuel Soare, Dr. Padam Vijayan has already submitted. They have already submitted their ideas. And then you can add your own ideas. So you can go look and read the ideas of others. But what you really want to do, where you can make a contribution, a significant one, not just a story you tell, but you can actually help potentially dozens, hundreds, or maybe even thousands of colleagues, immunization colleagues throughout the world. All it is, you just need to follow, read the instructions, and answer the questions. So first we want a title here. So how would you summarize your idea? If you had to give it a title, what would it be, Mary?
I think, I don't know whether I should make it teamwork, effective teamwork.
All right, effective teamwork to, what would you say, increase the demand for vaccination?
Yes,
yeah.
Effective teamwork.
All right.
To increase the demand for vaccination.
All right. You want to make sure you get the language right. Now, you might want to add a little bit more. You've only got 100 characters, though. Then you go to English. Here, then you say, is this what you're talking about? It's an existing practice or an idea that you have? I believe it's an existing practice. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. So then you select that. And you see now you can describe your practice, and it says, what are the concrete actions you are taking or have taken? Now, you've been telling us that, speaking about it. The only difference, what requires a little bit more effort, is here we ask you to actually write it up. And the difference, there's a saying that says, it is only the things that are written down that remain with us. So that is what's at stake. Again, the movement is not just an idea. It is about you making the effort, going the extra mile to help colleagues from all over the world who are tackling similar challenges. And then we ask you, how are you measuring implementation of your practice? And you can, if you're in a hurry, if you're short on time, do the best that you can, make the effort to contribute. That is, after all, you went through this rigorous application process to join the movement. We asked you to answer almost 100 different questions. Right, Mary? I believe you remember the application, I'm sure. Am I correct?
Yes.
All right. And we thank you and appreciate that effort. And this is about now beginning to reap some of the fruits, to reap some of the benefits, and to contribute to others. So you answer these questions, you see, and then there's a bit of a checklist, and then you publish your idea. And then you can really enjoy. I'm not going to do it now, but you can then go back and go and see what Samuel Soare says about hard-to-reach outreach to make immunization coverage wilder. Perhaps he means better. Or Dr. Padam Vijayan, who says who describes his idea as a community acceptable session site. So, Mary, let me ask you, and you can be honest if tomorrow we can help you if you're still not on the Ideas Engine. But do you think that this can be helpful to you?
Very helpful.
Right, but it does.
Very helpful. Since we tried, we saw that our coverage increased as compared to the previous one. They were going to the sector just to immunize and leave there. So I think if we continue that practice, it will be very, very helpful for my area and other people as well.
Wonderful, Mary. Thank you. And so if I go to the Ideas Engine tomorrow, will you promise me that when I go to the Ideas Engine tomorrow at the end of the day in Geneva, that I will see your name and your idea in the same way that these scholars have already submitted theirs?
Definitely. I will try and work on it tonight.
All right. Thank you so much, Mary. That's what this is about. That's how we help each other, support each other. Back to you, Charlotte.
Thank you so much, Mary, and thank you to Reda. I think we could listen to one last person before we separate today. So I'm going to invite James Ball Cole. James Ball, your hand has been raised for quite a while. Go ahead and unmute yourself, share your idea and practice with us. And I want to especially salute all those who have been sharing their comments in the chat, their ideas, their challenges. Please also keep an eye on the chat. James, you have the floor. Your mic is unmuted. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Thank you so much. My name is James Ball, Schwal. Probably, I work for API as a cold chain and logistic officer with the government. Currently, I work in a different country, not my country, but I want to share one of my experience in my country.
So please, can you share your country with us?
Now I'm in Somalia, working in Somalia now.
Okay, please go ahead.
One of the key issues that I want to share with you, my first experience in South Sudan, is that we went for support observation and we realized that there are a stock out of one of the three antigens, one of the facilities. We spoke to the team, and probably they said, children are not coming. So we traced them and we can't be able to find them. But later on, when we made some fun, we sit together. One of the guys came to me, he told me, you know what? We are the people who allow students not to be vaccinated because we are not able to bring the vaccine available to the health facility. So if the mother comes today, you tell them, BCG or measles is not available today, please come tomorrow. when the mother come back tomorrow and she did not find the same vaccine, you promise her to come and get it. Next tomorrow, you told her that please come back. We will not come back. So we are the people who contributing to this immunization, missed opportunity for immunization, particularly the children who supposed to get their dosage. So I realized that in some extent, the management itself also contribute to this, because we are not able to provide all the services at the facility so that the children or the woman can get the vaccine at the time. So what we came up, developed so-called a county team, and that county team is the one also to coordinate these activities. We made sure that we have a forum whereby we need to allow them to submit the report on weekly basis, so that we know where there is area there is a stock out, or there is a need for supply the vaccine and the other supply. So this is a critical, because if we did not do it, then we are now contributing. Sometimes we blame mothers not to come to facility, but we are also did not ask ourselves why we did not provide the services at the same time. This is what the first experience from my country where I work. Currently, I work in Somalia, the same cold chain. I support COVID-19 vaccination rollout. But the most difficult and the challenges here is the vaccine utilization, particularly low.
Okay, sorry, James, but I think we should focus on the idea, the experience you just shared. So I hope François was able to get you. François, do you have any questions for more clarity from James?
I think James highlight a challenge that sometimes we don't identify. And I think what he shared was the fact that he went to see why there was a problem of coverage. Very often there is a tendency to accuse mother not coming, where sometimes the vaccine are not coming. And what is great is that he identifies a problem. There was a dialogue with a person in Charles Health Center, and he addressed a solution with trying to make sure that every health facility report that they have vaccine or no vaccine, and in order to avoid dropout, that will increase the demand and the trust of mothers toward vaccination. So this attitude to go and see, and the solution is to be aware of who is missing vaccine, seems to be a great idea, and not always known by the management, and he address it as a management issue and not a mother demand issue. Very good idea that you shared. Thank you.
Thank you, François. And I would like to ask James, are you ready to share that idea in the ideas engine? I don't know if James, you are still there. Please unmute.
Thank you so much. I didn't use the idea engine. I was a little bit busy, so I just come back from the office. I tried to get to Indian idea engine, so that also I express my idea there. So I did not visit, but I'm going to visit.
Okay,
now.
So we really look forward to having your idea in the ideas engine, and we are sure it's going to help lots of colleagues who are facing a similar challenge to the one you mentioned.
Yes, and Charlotte, yes, indeed. And when you say we are looking forward to it, James, it's not Charlotte, François, and myself. It is your colleagues from all over the world. You have joined this movement together. You have made a commitment to improving immunization. And that means that commitment then needs to be translated into practice. It's not just an idea or a conviction. That is very important, but that is not sufficient. So I realize it is going the extra mile. Why should you share with someone who is a complete stranger, who is halfway around the world, and that you may never meet? Well, for a very simple reason. If you make the effort to share in the ideas engine, you do it once, and then everyone in the movement, potentially thousands of people will be looking at your idea, and maybe somebody somewhere will say, this is exactly what I need to help me solve the problem, the challenge that I am facing. And it will be thanks to you. So you only need to do it once, and then you can also get the benefit by looking at all the ideas that for yourself. And for Melissa Teferi, you have in your inbox, search for the word Wazoku. And I think that's the name of the company which has donated this platform for us. And then one for the movement, for you, for immunization staff, so that you can share your ideas. Look for that Wazoku, Wazoku, and you'll find the email that lets you log in. And don't miss it, because this is also an exclusive a membership benefit. It is only the people who made the effort to apply for the IA2030 movement who are allowed, who are enabled to access this ideas engine. So you don't want to miss it. And it's not for us, it's for you and for your colleagues all over the world.
Thank you so much. Look for it.
Thank you, James. And I will be looking for your name tomorrow in the ideas engine, so that you can actually to see your idea. And I will be proud to have known that from this exchange, from your participation, you're obviously committed, you're obviously dedicated, you're obviously diligent. Let's see that turn into ideas that will help people, that will help your colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, James. Thank you, Reda. I think, I don't know, Reda, I think we can just round up now. And I just want to invite, if you were not able to share your idea today, don't worry, we have another session on Thursday at 12 p.m. Geneva time. So please do join us on Thursday for another experience sharing session. And if you have not yet joined the Ideas Engine, you have not accessed your personal space on Learning.Foundation, you are facing any difficulty or challenge, join us tomorrow for the technical support session at 4:30 p.m. Geneva time. And we'll be delighted to work with you to ensure that both of this platform. Thank you, Reda. Over.
That's great. And this is one of the key benefits. This is something you don't want to miss. One of the best parts, one of the immediate benefits is you can get ideas from all over the world. You can also share yours. This is what you get. Just search for the keyword Wazoku, W-A-Z-K-U, in order to benefit from the Ideas Engine, as well as contribute to helping your colleagues from all over the world. Thank you so much for having joined us again. As Charlotte said, we have additional sessions. So Tuesday, Thursday, Charlotte, if I got this right, is a session like this one where we problem solve, we share experience. And then tomorrow and Friday is the technical support session. Did I get that right?
Yes, Reda, you got that right.
All right, wonderful. Take care. Thank you. And just as a reminder, in case you've joined us, you don't know what this is the movement for Immunization Agenda 2030 in action. More than 6,100 immunization professionals from all over the world have joined. And we've just kicked off what we call the first full learning cycle. So a series of peer learning activities. It's not a course. It's focused on helping you with the challenges that you face every day. This kind of experience sharing is a key component of the full learning cycle. Once again, thank you. If, as you see here on your screen, do not suffer in silence. Do not get left behind. We want you to come along on this journey, on this adventure. And thanks to a great big thank you to François Gasse, as well as Charlotte and Ian Steed, who is the mastermind behind the Ideas Engine. We hope you'll find it useful, and we hope to see you. If you have any problems, passwords, logins, join us tomorrow. Again, colleagues will be supporting you with the technical support. Take care. I see you, Laurentia. Caesar, I see you. Good to see you dancing. I hope you're not the only one moving to this. This is a movement, as we said on Monday. This is what we're kicking off. Stay with us. If you're feeling lost or confused, do not despair. We are here to help you. Do not suffer in silence. Let us know the problems we're having. We'll do everything we can so that you can stay and be successful in this movement, and that this success will help you in your daily work to protect the lives of children, mothers, fathers, boys and girls everywhere.